And then the microbiome transplant, that's the big thing now. Good bacteria and bad bacteria. I had a patient come to see me, and he's a fellow who tends to do all of these tests that I never do. I don't recommend them to anybody, but one of the things he did this neurotransmitter test.
Okay.
And his serotonin levels came back high. And he's a vegan. He eats almost all vegetables, a little bit of healthy protein, a lot of healthy oils. And the question is his serotonin level so high because he's feeding his good bacteria, and the good bacteria produce serotonin. And the serotonin makes you happy.
Yeah.
Hence, if you're on Prozac, you're on Zoloft, all the rest of those antidepressants, they are, basically serotonin uptake inhibitors.
Yes.
So they're trying to keep your serotonin level up. Well, these bacteria will do it for you.
Wow. But
it turns out that if you're consuming corn syrup and the starches and the sugar, those actually promote what could be referred to as the bad bacteria that produce things that make you not well.
Yeah.
Either cancer or just, these toxic compounds. And particularly if you're doing, and then the worst thing is when you're eating foods that cause inflammation. And at some point we'll have to bring up the elimination diet. But some of the lectins, gluten is probably one of the big effectors. The casein 1, which is a protein in milk, which is why I drink the heavy cream, because the casein's in the skimmed milk below. Those two things are probably the worst thing for gut inflammation. And what happens is you're feeding the sugar, you're putting the starch in, you're putting these inflammatory glycoproteins in. You get what's called the leaky gut. The inflammation breaks down the barrier, because really the gut wants to keep all of this toxic stuff out. Yeah. But if you have inflammation, it all leaks in, turns on your immune system, and everything goes bad. And so by feeding the good bacteria, you're in fact protecting the lining of the gut. And by feeding the bad bacteria, you're actually disrupting everything and producing chemicals which in fact will make you feel bad, not good. So so the whole microbiome thing, and then transplanting gut bacteria, they now are doing studies where you take capsules of people's desiccated stool.
Oh no.
And the question is, who is this guy that I'm eating his stool?
Oh my gosh.
And why do I know his stool's better than my stool? And I just think that probably a better thing is to put the prebiotic, which is the green leafy vegetables, in and let the bacteria fight it out. Yes. And that the good bacteria will win if you're giving them fuel and not feeding the bad bacteria. And the example was, I'd read about making sauerkraut. And it said, so I just went to the grocery store. I got an organic head of cabbage. I got some, it called for Himalayan sea salt for whatever reason, so I got that. And you just come home, you chop it up, you put it in a big bowl, and you squeeze all the juice out of the cabbage. And then you put a third of a cup, I can't remember, of salt into this thing. You squeeze it all up. You put it in a mason jar with a cheesecloth or something on it, and in a warm place. And a week later, you have sauerkraut, which is lactobacillus producing lactic acid via fermentation. But so you had the prebiotic, and the lactobacillus came out of nowhere. They were just in the cabbage. So and of course, then I was before I ate the first bite, I was thinking, George, did you wash your hands before you made the cabbage? Thinking whatever bacteria might have, but the nice thing is the good bacteria will inhibit the bad bacteria. So and you might get a little fungus growing, but you just skim that off the top. They say that's not bad for you, the little black stuff. And so by consuming probiotics, which are the green leafy vegetables, and really cutting out the sweets and the fruits. And the starches, I think we could make a new microbiome without having to eat somebody else's stool. But let's hope.
How is the sauerkraut?
And the sauerkraut was delicious.
Oh, good.
Yes, it was delicious.